Welcome. Let's create an autonomous agent. We are in Scout, and what we're going to do today is build a simple agent and demonstrate how you can make it autonomous by using the agent scheduler feature in Scout. So let's go ahead and start with research and start to collect or train the Scout agent about the input we want to get. And for this one, we want to simply just create a nice daily stock summary report. So what we're going to do is use the dictation feature and use it to save from typing. Hey, Scout, get me the latest stock market prices for the NASDAQ, S&P 500, Dow, and Russell indexes. So the Scout agent now is going to call the web search tool and look for the latest prices, probably with a 15-minute delay, for the NASDAQ, the S&P 500, the Dow, and the Russell 2000. Okay, so major stock market indexes, latest available data. The Dow Jones Industrial Average, 49,554, S&P 6933, NASDAQ 23,495, and the Russell 2734. Note there's a slight difference that reflects update times during market hours. That's okay. That's fine. That's perfect. That's just what we want. Okay. So now let's ask Scout to give us some stock prices of Pacific tickers. Hey, Scout, get me the stock prices for these tickers: Meta, Apple, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Tesla, and Netflix. Okay, so now Scout is going to use the web search tool to find prices for these specific tickers, which is pretty cool. And then when it gets done with that, that's our input, and we're going to tell Scout to write an HTML page with Pacific styling to create a Scout report. So we've got all of those. Most of these are tech giants showing positive movement today. Let's see, Apple 249, Meta 646, Google 331, Amazon 234. You can see. And then Tesla 446. Cool. Strong performer. Okay. Hey, Scout, let's create a infographic HTML page using clean, neutral style with off-white background, no gradients, no purple, and save the HTML file to a Scout drive as stocks-date.html. We'll just make one more edit. We'll wrap this date in curly braces, letting the agent know that we want to use, and maybe we'll just say today's date. And then we want to say save to the Scout drive as an HTML file. And then finally, when done, show us the link to the HTML file. Cool. So we're going to tell Scout to read all of these things that it found in the search and then create an HTML page or web page with specific styling. And that specific styling will just make the page a little clean and readable. And then when it gets done, will have basically our input, our process, which is to create a HTML page, and then our output is to save to the drive. So cool. It finished. Let's give a look and see what our file looks like. Nice. So we have all the ingredients of a process that we would like to create an agent to do and schedule to do daily. So our next step is to tell Scout to create a plan to create an agent to do these things. So let's start that, and we'll use our dictation icon. Hey, Scout, create a plan to create an agent that uses search to fetch the above stock information and then uses code to generate a professional web page based on the criteria mentioned above. And let's schedule it to run 5 p.m. daily, and let's call it Daily Stock Summary Agent. Okay. Now what this is going to do is Scout's going to create a plan, and then it's going to create a plan, and then it's going to start executing each step. So let's go ahead and kick it off. And when we say create a plan, what that does is it tells Scout to create essentially like a to-do list, right? So it'll create a to-do list of tasks that it wants to do step by step. And the nice thing about that is that we'll be able to follow along, right? So they're going through the planning phase, then agent development, and it's going to go through each one of those steps. Now, it's important if you're building this agent and you would like to review the plan, this is a very simple agent, so I'm confident. But if you would like to review and approve the plan before it starts, you can just say at the end of your prompt, hey, before you start to implement this plan, make sure that I approve it. And then Scout will present the plan to you and then let you approve it before it starts to run. So it's completed the planning phase. Now it's starting the agent development phase. So it's going to create the daily stock summary agent, and it's going to test the agent by running it manually. Let's see if it does that. Sometimes it skips that step. Then it'll set up a daily reoccurring schedule for the agent. And then it will verify the schedule is set correctly. And then finally, it will document the agent's functionality and usage instructions. So created the schedule. Okay, it completed the verification step. And now it's going to just document the agent's functionality. Awesome. Cool. So just as we asked, it's got 3 capabilities. It's going to fetch the data, then it's going to generate the HTML with our styles specified, and then it's going to use file storage to save to the drive with stocks dash year, month, date, HTML. Perfect. So let's go ahead and view our agent details. And in the agent details screen, just a quick overview, you can go and edit all kinds of things in the agent details screen. We can change the name or the description. We can also get the ID, which is great for support if you need help. And then this trigger panel is pretty cool. You can see it set up our schedule, and you can see it set at 5 p.m. and it's going to run daily. And we just want to generate today's stock market summary and create the daily HTML report. Perfect. So we like that. And now what we're going to do is change the model to use GPT 5.2. And then we're happy with the instructions. But if we wanted to add or remove stocks, we could iterate on that. And then the tools. So we've got execute TypeScript, search the web, and write drive files. I think that is good. So the next thing we want to do is just save this. And then I'm going to go back into the trigger and I'm going to copy this text. And the way that we test that it does what we want it to do is we want to use this preview pane to paste in the same instructions that's being given to it when the trigger occurs. So we'll paste that in and hit run, and it should simulate what the autonomous agent will do during every run. And you can see it's searching for the web, searching the web for the indexes, and then it's searching the web for the tickers. And while it's doing that, let's just go through this interface. You'll notice a couple of tabs up here, overview and history. Overview gives you some cards of stats that are going on with your agent. And then you have some charts. Obviously, there's nothing to chart yet because we haven't used it. We just created it. And then the history will keep track of all your conversations. So cool. It just finished. And now we've got the first web page. So let's just take a look at what our test generated. Nice. And now it's scheduled to run every day at 5 o'clock. So I think we created our agent. Please take your time, work through this course, and set up your agent and let me know if you run into any problems. Thanks again.